Okay, many people didn't know about the old Windows, and this is a control panel from Windows 10, but there was a find and fix problems here before, but many people didn't use it. Well, the new version of Windows 10 has decimated basically the control panel. If you look here, you see it's a lot smaller, and it's getting smaller every time there's a release. So we're going to use Windows settings to go ahead and do this troubleshooting. And what they've done is down here under Windows Update and Security, if you click on that, you'll go over here to and you'll see an entry for troubleshoot. And now those same things they had before are listed out one at a time in two sections. Now the first section is get up and running. It's supposedly the things that just get you basically going so your system's working acceptably. The next section down here is all the other things that can go wrong with your system, and this is where we're going to spend most of our time, all the details that help fix problems. Now you can use this guide to jump to this section in this video for the particular problem you're having and watch the automatic process. But I want to caution, there's a lot of repetition here because many times the automatic troubleshooting system does not find anything wrong with my system. However, it's important you understand that the steps it takes on your behalf to fix your system. If you review more than one section, you'll eventually see that it will actually list all of the steps it tried to take on your behalf for that particular fix. Many items are things you wouldn't even try, or maybe even wouldn't know to try for that particular fix. So, on with the troubleshooting. Now, the first item on the list is internet connections. You're up and running, but you can't connect. You don't know why. So, it could be a wireless thing, it could be a wire connection, whatever. It's going to find them. It's not going to find them here on my system, okay? But it's going to troubleshoot that and actually turn on a network adapter, for example. Fix your Wi-Fi settings, whatever. Once you have that, it'll give you a report. And that's down here. It says, hey, here's what happened. And this is going to be exactly the same kind of thing later on, but it's going to do every step it needs to take until either your problem is fixed or it gives up and tells you to try something else. Now, I don't think that playing audio is an up and running kind of thing. It's more like it belongs in the other category. But let's take a look. If we run the troubleshooter, it's going to say what's going on. It's going to take a look at your audio card and your drivers. And here's the list of digital output devices I have on my system. And you have to choose which one you want. In my case, let me open up the playback devices here. It matches this list here. And I want to troubleshoot my speakers, for example. Not the other connections on my video card because I'm not using them. But it's my speakers down there, which if I look here, that's an optical. That is down here. Okay, so I want to find the one. There it is, speakers. And that's what I want to troubleshoot. So make sure you troubleshoot the right one. Then you click on, cancel all that, click on next. And it says, turn off sound effects and enhancements. Now, sound effects and enhancements are what the video card manufacturers have that may make your card sound better. If you look here, we open up the tabs here, you'll see there's an enhancement. There's environmental, voice cancellation, virtual sound. I have loudness and equalization turned on, and they're going to try and turn stuff on and off, and then play the test sounds back. Now, in my case, I have an audio manager that's installed, the Realtek Audio Manager, where I can go in here and I can take a look. Let me close this out of the way. And let's close this out of the way. And I can configure my speakers, set up different environmental sounds, do all that. By the way, I have a video on how to get that installed if you have a Realtek system. So take a look on YouTube for that from me. But anyways, once you're all done and you play your test sounds and everything and all that, you want to do one of two things. You're going to either reinstall your drivers or not. Well, I'm going to skip this because I don't need my drivers reinstalled, but that's what you normally would do. So instead, I'm going to do that. Now, it says it detected a generic audio driver, and that's my specialized ones, but I'm going to just close it and not have it install drivers like I said earlier. Okay, printers. Let's talk printers. If we run a troubleshooter, much like the audio card, this goes out and finds any printer that might be installed. Now this takes a lot longer than what you see here because I've clipped off some of the time because takes quite a bit of time to check everything. But once it does, there's a list of all my printers, and it says, hey, what's one? Now mine is the first one on the top, but there's other things. If it doesn't show your printer, there's the checkbox there, say my printer enlisted. So it'll step you through each one of these to try and figure out what's going on. I'm going to click on the top one, say next, and it's check it. Mine's a wireless printer. Now here's it says make it a default printer. Apply this fix. Well, I thought I had it as a default, but go ahead and do that, and boom, it made it. Share it within a home group. Home group is going away with the April update, so I'm going to skip that. I don't care about sharing it with other printers in the house. There's a different way to do it later on. Okay, so it says here sharing with the home groups not fixed. That's what it is. And then not default, it says fixed. So I did exactly what it was supposed to do. And again, here's a list of all the different things it checked. If you notice, there's quite a few things here. Printer, toner, a paper jam, required drivers required update, print job stuck in the queue. So all of these things you don't have to do because it's going to do it automatically for you, identify it, and help you fix it. Okay, Windows Update. This is a biggie for a lot of people, okay, and this is truly an up and running one. We're going to run a troubleshooter, and it's going to check if you have any pending updates, and do that first. And again, it might take several minutes. I've chopped it down shorter, but you have to let it go. It's going to diagnostic the system and see if you have any waiting. Now the bit service is the information transfer. It says, oh, there are pending updates. Apply this fix. Well, it's going to go ahead and do those, but I'm going to go real quick here to update, and I'm going to run through it manually like you normally would have to do. And you'll see that there's just a definition update for Windows Defender. It's all it's talking about. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to go ahead and go back again, let it finish. And now it says it's up to date. So now if I run Windows Update, because it fixed it earlier with the manual way, the diagnostic runs and didn't find any problems because the update was done. So if you have any stuck updates, this will find them and correct them. Okay, blue screen of death, Bsod, okay? If you run the troubleshooter, because occasionally you have it go to a blue screen, it's going to try and find all the different problems. Some bad driver somewhere, a video driver, or something else that causes this to happen. You don't have to nail this down yourself, go look at the logs and all that. Just like you saw in the other steps, it'll go through all those. Didn't find any on my system, but run this on yours if you have that problem. Okay, if you have a laptop or if you use Bluetooth for some reason, run the troubleshooter. And it's first of all, it says does not have a Bluetooth because this is my desktop, it doesn't have it. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and plug in a Bluetooth USB device to give it. But you see it says here, oh, no Bluetooth, that's it, we're done. So if I go here and run it again after I've installed a Bluetooth adapter, it'll say checking for capability, turning on Bluetooth because it was off. So it's fixing it. Oh, look, that's what it found. If it had bad drivers, it would do it. Whatever it needed to do. And enable Bluetooth completed. Okay, determine its status. Okay, and everything that needs to check is checked, and Bluetooth is up and running. Okay, hardware and devices. If we go here, this is a big category. Could be a bunch of different things, but what it's going to do, it's going to go through all your hardware that you have, even the audio cards again, but it's going to go through here and see if you have any problems with drivers for any of your hardware. This again takes a long time. Now the first thing it does, it scans for hardware changes. It's making sure that the last time you will set up that something's happened, like when I plugged in my Bluetooth device, and it sees that maybe something got added to the system, but there was no drivers. In this particular case, it says my PC needs to finish to install drivers. So let's go over here to Manage and look at the old way. And we're going to go down here to Device Manager. And here's all the things. If there's problems here, there's normally a little triangle next to one of these saying there's a problem. So I'm not sure what it found, but it says I need to reboot my system. Just like before, you can go ahead. I'm going to skip it, and we're going to take a look at, just like before, you can see what it did, what it checked. And it's about, again, about Windows Update. All these things are not present because they were fixed, but there was a leftover restart left. So I'm going to go do that. Okay, Homegroup. Now it's going away with the April update, but in case you're going to hang on to your system and not upgrade to April for a while if you can, or you don't get it for a while because it comes out slowly, we're going to go ahead and run a troubleshooter here. And it's going to say, oh, here's some network problems. It could be your drivers about you're not connected to the internet, whatever. So first thing it does is check your network and see if there's something wrong with your settings for the network. It could be you don't have sharing turned on. It could be a hardware problem. But it's going to wrap all those up into one set of tests here. And again, it gets a little boring, but you can't find it. But if we look at the information here, the detection details, okay, and we scroll down a little bit here. Let me get back down here. Oh, it doesn't have a list this time, but it goes out there and it checks all these different things. And if it finds it, it'll walk you through. Now that was just the network diagnostics. Now it's checking the actual home group settings, okay? Well, it's waiting for that to. Now it's checking security configuration. Again, it couldn't find a problem because mine's configured correctly. We look here, and there's nothing really here again. But the point of it is that it checks all these things here about how something could prevent your home group from operating. So let it go ahead and do all those. Now, as an example of what you would have to do if you didn't use this automatic troubleshooter, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at Homegroup. Okay, normally I have to go here and I have to click on Network and Internet, and I have to go down here to after Homegroup right there. So I click on here and I go to the old control panel, and there it is, changing what you share, and you have to figure out what you're sharing. If it found something in the earlier one, it would have fixed that. So it'll do all these kind of things for you when you're using a troubleshooter without you having to lift a finger. Well, one, to click the mouse. So let's go back to the way we were troubleshooting. Let's go back to the automatic system. Go here to troubleshoot. Scroll down here. And we were on home group and trying to figure that out. And again, let it run through it. Now, normally there's another one below this, incoming connections, but home group's been replaced. So home has been replaced with something else. You won't see it here. You'll see this connection to a workplace using direct access. And you probably won't see that on the home version, but this is really only talking about business computers that have people that sign into a domain name securely at work. And it's talking about how it needs to be joined to a domain. I don't even know, again, normally a network administrator would take care of all that and make sure your PC is up and running. But it'll do it anyways. Maybe they'll run it and see how things are going. So if I click on this, we find out I'm not on a domain, so I don't have access to using this. Okay, we're back on the pre-update version, and here's incoming connection. It appears on both, but we're going to run the troubleshooting way. It's about computers trying to find something like sharing folders here, connecting remotely, finding this computer on the network. So what you do is you just go through these, and you can do it more than once. It'll do it one at a time. Let's say I want to share files. If I go through here, and it's going to look for, first of all, the gateway configuration. Again, I've cropped this down. It actually takes a lot longer. And so once it figures out if the network's okay between the two computers, it's going to ask you something. First of all, you say, I've completed this. So that means I have gone ahead and tried to connect and see if it worked. Okay, so I was like skip to try to fix it. Well, I completed it, and it's going to say, oh, I'm going to look again. And again, this takes a long time. I can't emphasize that enough. But there's no problem here because it didn't find anything. And that's true because it didn't. I don't have any problems. But this way, it'll check your connections. So you want to go through the steps to do that. Now, if we go under detection details, tells you, oh, there's my IP address, a lot of techie stuff again, but it didn't find any kind of problems. This is a little repetitive, but don't worry about these because I don't have any problems. Run through them, let them fix your system, and go through all the options. Now this one's a little silly, but I've had a problem once in a while where my keyboard is not responding. Usually it's batteries because I have a wireless one, but if it has any problems like the USB is not talking to it or whatever, it'll find it here. Okay, it says here that it checks to see if the text services like input handwriting recognition and all that are working. But in this case, of course, it wasn't found, so everything's okay. But again, go through the steps, see if it finds anything. So in the network adapter, it's going to go ahead down here. Now let's click on that. If you have a wireless connection, it'll troubleshoot that. We sort of went through this a little bit before, but see, I have a couple of different Ethernet connections. I have this one wired, and that one's a virtual one for programming. So what it does, it goes through, and I'm going to check all network adapters, see if I have a problem with any one of them. And again, boring. Didn't find it, but let's go down here and look at detailed, and you'll see that instead of you having to check it, it goes out and says, okay, here's the Hyper-V, the virtual one first to see what's going on, make sure everything's working correctly, the drivers are installed, everything's working correctly there. And here's my actual real hardware one, and it checked all that. If there was any problems, it would highlight them and step you through the fix. Okay, moving on to power, let's go down here and click on this and say run the troubleshooter. Now, in this particular case, it's found something. It says, time before display goes to sleep is too long. Time before computer goes to sleep is too long. That's because I manually made them that way. But it fixed them for me, which I didn't want it to do. But it can find other things as well as your power. And if you look here, it said restore the default sleep. And the troubleshooter is going to do that for you whether you like it or not. And here's a list of all the things it checked. Okay? Like sometimes I like to mine set on high performance because I'm playing games or whatever. But anyways, it went through and fixed these things for me. Thank you very much. But you know what? I appreciate they went and checked all that stuff, did all that stuff to make sure that all the things that are standard are standard. But I'm going to go back here to system, power and sleep, and put them back. So I want this to be, I think I have it set for 30 minutes. I never want it to sleep. I have to scroll down here. It's on the side right now, but I scroll down, click on never, and now they're back. So troubleshooting in this particular case is something the opposite of what I wanted, but that's okay. The idea here is that it's an automatic process that you don't have to worry about normally to put back things standard. Okay, program compatibility. I actually have a 2 or 3 year old video about how to do troubleshoot video or games that don't have the compatibility tab. Well, this is the new interface. This is the way you do that. So you just go here and you click on run it, and it'll go out and find every single program you have installed supposedly. Okay, there are exceptions. And I have a whole bunch of stuff here. I have development, movie maker, office, games like this that I have installed off a disk. Yep, they're here as well. Now, I'm not sure about some other ones, but Steam, I'm not sure about GOG, for example, or that, but Steam doesn't show up here as individual games. Games I installed showed up here separately from Steam. My graphics program, an emulation software, Twitch, all this stuff shows up. There's Steam. Not all the games underneath it, but just Steam itself. That Spider-Man, again, installed on a disk. So it finds all of those wherever you've installed them at. But what happens if it can't find it? So, well, if it's not on the list, you go up here and say not listed. Makes sense. Click on next, then you browse. Now, where to browse? Now, I've already gone here to my big storage drive where I have all my games installed, my 3 terabyte. And I go into here, and there's Steam, for example. All the Steam games are in here under Steam Apps, okay, under Common. Now, normally Steam games work because they're set up by Steam to do so. But in case you have one that doesn't, you just go here, you get into it, and you find the exe for the game. Now in this particular case, what we're going to do is I'm going to right click on it and say properties. See, there's a compatibility tab here, and you can run the troubleshooter from there. But the idea here is that you don't have to do this anymore. Just click on this and you would say open it and go do the next. So instead of doing a Steam game, I'm going to go down here and find FXX. Whoop, wrong place. I can spell, honest. Okay, I go to Flight Simulator. Now there's a lot of EXEs in here, so it's tough sometimes to find the right one. That's actually an older one. Again, it's not set up for compatibility, so I know it's not the right one. Oh yeah, it's the FSX.exe. And you'll see here that I already have it in Vista Service Pack 2, already set up that way. However, I'm going to let Windows detect what's best for it. So I do that, I say next. Try recommended settings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and let it go. It says it applied it, and look what it applied. Windows Vista Service Pack 2. So now it says test the program. So here we are. We're going to test that, and we're going to go back here, and sure enough, there it is running. Now, I'm not going to launch the entire flight, but it's going to be okay if I launched it. I know that because I've run it for years that way. But the point is, you would run your program, and you would test it, and you would say next. And it says yes, save those settings. So therefore, I'm good. It program did well. So if it doesn't do that, okay, I'm saving it. I can also report it to Microsoft or try different settings until it finds it. Okay, it says, oh, fixed, done. Okay, and let's go down here. An incompatible program, and here's the details again, just like the other troubleshooting steps for other things. And that's how you troubleshoot and install an incompatible program. So this is recording audio. Now remember earlier we did the plain audio. Why that's up there and the other one's down, I'm not 100% sure. Maybe because people don't record audio that much. But we run the troubleshooter, and it's going to go out and find all your audio devices that are capable of recording. I have the microphone I'm talking on right here, the one that's highlighted. Okay, current default device. And I've got like the one in my camera and all that's attached. I'm going to click on next, and it's going to go out and detect any problems I might find with those devices. Of course, just like anything else, it couldn't find anything. But look at all the things it checked. It's muted, and it's the format's not set right. It did all these things and it did not find it. If you run this and something's wrong, it'll show you right there what was wrong with your audio setup and fix it for you. Okay, here's another biggie. Searching and indexing. Many people on blogs and on Reddit and things say, oh, it can't find crap, you know. Well, that's because you probably messed with the settings. Here's what you do. You select any and all of the things that are having a problem with, so they can reset your settings. I'm going to click on those because I don't really care if it rebuilds it because I know it's going to be good. It says, oh, you need administrator privileges probably. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And files will appear in search results, email, searcher indexing is slowing down, and boom, it couldn't identify the problem. But let's take a look at what it looked like. Here's incorrect permissions on directories, the host process. Anyways, the search service, it checked all these things that you wouldn't even know to check. And it should improve your search. So it's very important if you're having search problems to try and run this troubleshooter to fix them. Now, we go down here to shared folders, which is available in both the new version and the old version, but it's even more important because Homegroup's not there. If you want to share stuff, this is it. So I want to access a different computer on my network. I'm on my other computer. I want to search for this one. And they couldn't find the problem because I'm connected to it. But, again, go down here and detection. It checks your network out and make sure that everything's okay. It'll show you errors of your connectivity if it's not set up right so you can connect to your other computers. Now, recording speech is a little similar to audio, but it includes Cortana. So Cortana can't hear me, or I can't hear Cortana. You may have disabled it. Maybe you want it. Then don't run the troubleshooter. Frankly, I love Cortana. But if I click on this, it'll ask me what I have set up that I want to use. Again, the same kind of input devices to talk to Cortana with. Okay, so I go boom, and it says the microphone is not designed, so it knows which microphones to use. Quite frankly, I skip that because I use a different microphone for her. So we run it again, and I said I can't hear Cortana. So I was doing the speaker part of it, the output part, and it's going to do the same troubleshooting it had before. So if you're going in here to troubleshoot Cortana, you don't go to one of the other options, just go right here to speech. Okay, video playback. You try and run a movie and you can't do it. You don't know why. It's probably because you don't have the right drivers installed, the right codecs. But we're going to run the troubleshooter, and it's going to go out and try and figure out what's wrong with it. Again, it couldn't find it, but I'm going to go down here, and it says here, basic video driver installed, protected audio is turned off, video driver is not digitally signed. It's trying to find out what could be the causes of no video. Okay, lastly is another biggie, Windows Store apps, okay? And there's a command people used to type into the command box to reset your store, but that's what it's doing now. It's detecting the diagnostic. It's going to reset the store if necessary. Don't worry, the store doesn't erase your purchases, okay? But here it says if you're having a problem with one app, here's what to do. And so it's not going to go through all of them for you. It's going to let you do it. So you click on that, you come over here, and you find the app that you are having a problem with. And some apps you can do, sometimes you can't. Like there's nothing there that I can do. Let me go find one that may have. Here's one. No, yeah, advanced options underneath this. So if I click that, you notice there's a reset button. A lot of apps have that now. So if you see the advanced option, go do that. And you see it says here that the app data will be unusable maybe, or the data will be deleted. But you click on that, and it again warns you again, okay? You might have to go in and re-sign into the app. It's very important you're aware of that. You click on that, and boom, it resets the app, and you should be able to start the app up. So that way you can go through any one of them and fix the problem with all your apps or your apps. Now, once you've done that, if I click here next, now it's running diagnostics again, and starting and stopping, hanging or crashing apps fixed because I ran something. Okay, so it did all these different checks. Again, things that you don't know to check, it checks all that stuff. And if there's a problem, like you're not using the right Microsoft account, it'll tell you why your apps aren't working. So there it is. There you have it, automatic troubleshooting, Windows 10 using the Settings app. So if you're having a problem, open it up, take a look around, and find the one that will work for the problem that you're having. Use this guide here to go back and find the area that you're having a problem with and review the video again. And then go out and if you're having a problem, and do that on your own system. And hopefully you'll be able to fix that system very quickly and be up and running and enjoy your Windows 10 installation.